right, everybody, welcome back to the show. If you're watching on YouTube, you may notice got me a new background finally. Thanks to a quick eye on Facebook Marketplace, found some custom-made bookshelves somebody was getting rid of. Kind of like it. Scoot on over, take a look. I'll maybe try and throw in a little view here or there, but I like it. It's got all my books, got all my knickknacks, got all my little memories and things like that. I'm able to put on there, so I'm pretty pumped about that. Need to adjust a little volume on the video recording for that size so I can talk a little louder on this one. So, as always, guys, if you're looking to start, maybe you're drifting through life, you got some things you need to run by somebody, you don't have somebody, you don't know where to turn to, do me a favor, drop in the show notes, click on the link, hop on a 15-minute call with me. I've had a few guys who I've talked to already. It seems sometimes a guy just needs to understand and listen and have his thoughts played out so that he can digest them himself, which is cool because sometimes we don't always have that. And it's funny when I'm talking to these guys how one of the things that comes up a lot of times is there's a lot of ideas and there's a lot of thoughts on, I want to do this, or this is an issue, or this is something that I need to do, but it's so hard to get started. And when I talk to people about this and it comes up, I'm like, yeah, it is hard to get started. I know there's usually a YouTube video or a commentary somewhere that says just start. All you got to do is start. Well, yeah, you do have to start. But there's a lot that goes into that. When you get started, there's a proper way to do it and there's a wrong way to do it. And more times out of not, people get into it they start off on the wrong foot. For instance, I know we've all been there when we haven't been to the gym in a while, and the first thing we do, we just get back and we start slinging that heavy weight. And next thing you know, your legs are tired. You're walking like a baby deer, maybe because you decide I'm going to go legs today. I'm going to start it off real right with legs, and you get going, and you're in such a pain and recovery that you are unable to get back into the gym for a few days, and then it just trails off again. Or anything in life, you can't get that full into it. You can't decide like, I'm going to make all these radical life changes. I'm going to do all these things like straight off the bat to where I am eating clean and working out and waking up at 5 a.m. and doing all this and that. And you get burnt out. I mean, you can seriously get burnt out in 3 days trying to accomplish and do all those things and have that happen. And I mean, anybody who attempts anything probably knows about this already. You know that if you just decide on Monday, I'm going to wake up and I'm going to be up at 5 a.m. and then I'm going to eat clean and then I'm going to hit the gym and I'm going to read and I'm going to study. I'm going to do all these things. And the next thing you know, come Thursday, you're like, I'm sleeping in. It happens. It's happened to me. I've done it too. Because I also go through these seasons and periods where I'm on my game and I'm off my game and then I'm slightly in it and I'm got one toe in the water and one foot out and all these things. But what I have found is there's a right way to start. So I want to break this down in hopefully in a way that you can understand, because there's different stages of where you're starting from. There's different progressions and there's different realizations as to what you need to start doing. So the best example that I can probably give you is myself and what I do. Now, from a perspective of myself, I'm very aware that when I'm not feeling my best, when I know something's off, when I know I'm just not doing well, and you feel it. Sometimes it may be you think you're in a funk. You may think that you are burnt out. You may think there's a lot of things like this feeling, but what you may not be feeling or being able to recognize the feeling of is that I'm just not operating at my best potential. I'm not doing everything I could be doing. And I've had coaches, and I got a friend of mine who rolled me through this one time. And you really should have a friend who understands this about you and what you need to do, so that whenever you're talking to your friend, they can ask you the questions. So for me, I know that the questions I have to ask myself are, have you worked out? Are you waking up early? Are you eating right? Are you drinking enough water? Are you focused on your goals? Are you doing the things that you know you need to do, but you don't want to do? It's a very quick self-assessment, and I can ask myself, well, I'm doing this, but I'm not doing that, and I'm doing this one, but I'm not doing that one. I'm totally not doing that one. It's understanding your patterns and understanding the recognition of these are the things that move me along, and these are the things that derail me. And it's very easy to think like, oh, well, I'm going to work and I'm coming home and I'm doing these things. But the things that you have to do is what really gets you off. Now, when I'm not doing those things and I have to get back to them, I am not starting at a basis of never doing these things. So I'm starting from a different level. And there's this old saying that, you can try. And when you stop, when you start again, you're not, or fail. It's you try something, you fail, and you try it again. And when you try it again, you're like, well, I'm starting all over. No, you're not. You're starting from someone who has that experience. So when I know I have to start, I know the biggest thing for me sometimes is just to wake up early. Maybe not go on that workout, or maybe not go on a hard workout. Just get in my office and get reading and get going. Get some kind of move. It may be like stretching out, something not very, very demanding of my body, but getting my body moving, drinking my water. I know like by the time I leave my house in the morning to go to my real job, I should at least have like 90 ounces of water in me and be hydrated and be everything set, ready to go. That's a big thing. If I know I get that to that point, it's really good. Now, if you're someone who has never woken up early, if you're someone who has never worked out in the morning, if you're someone who has, you've never had that morning routine, it's very difficult to throw a bunch of stuff in there right away. For example, I had moments where I'd wake up, slam some pre-workout, hit the gym, and be miserable in there. And it's like, yeah, this is horrible. I'm not going to be doing this the next day. I just knew it because it's not a good feedback for you afterwards. And you got to be conscious of what you're doing when you're starting, that you got to make sure that the feedback in the present time of it is like, okay, this is a little difficult, but it's not killing me. But the feedback afterward is, I feel good after this, which is a great indicator that, hey, this is something I can build on. So like I said, though, if you're somebody who's never done this, maybe the biggest thing you just got to do is wake up a little earlier and then back it up. Maybe if you usually get up at 7, get up at 6:30, then 6, then 5:30, then 5. Maybe the best thing you could actually do is just get up at 6:30 if you used to 7, and you may need just that extra 30 minutes to shake it all out and be ready to go. You got to play with this stuff too. Here's the thing. I personally, I have my routine that I know that works for me. And if someone asks, hey, what would you do? I was like, well, this is what I do. What you decide to do to get you going Could be your own thing. It could be the fact that you need to stop off somewhere after work and just watch the water pass by in a lake for 10 minutes to get you shifted, because you're shifting yourself out all throughout the day. Be aware of that. It may be that you need to, like, I need to just put my phone down before I go to bed. I need to read before bed. I need to connect with my. You need to find the things that are going to actually move your life in a good way. You're going to find the things that actually give you a little bit, fill your cup up, as they say. You know, be ready to go. But if you've never done it, you got to play with this. You have to come up with, certain things that are, you're into it. Don't wake up and take cold showers just because you're like, I hear it, taking a cold shower is good for you. Maybe it is. Maybe it's not. As I was saying, you really have to play with this to the point where you say, oh, this is what it looks like. Yeah, I read something the other day, or I heard it where like, you don't have to wake up and make your bed to be a millionaire. And it's like, it's true. If you're a millionaire, maybe someone else makes your bed. But don't jump into these things and say, I need to do this just because I see someone on Instagram or YouTube or any of these things say that this is what I do and to be productive. Man, my routine, when I'm on it, it's good, it works for me. But it may not work for others. It may not work for you. Like I said, you may wake up, I have a lot of friends who, for example, say, the first thing I do is I wake up in the morning and I get myself in the Word. They open their Bible. Great. For me, if I was to wake up and sit down and start reading the Bible, I would fall asleep again. That just doesn't work for me. I need to get up and get moving and wake my ass up. That's why I do it. I get up and I get moving because I need to wake up. I am a lazy guy. I tend to be lazy. I can be. And I know that when I'm being lazy, I need to do something to counterproduct that. And so maybe that's what you need to understand is, when I wake up, am I just up and ready to go? Maybe that's a perfect time to sit down and like journal. Or okay, let's do this. Let's make a list real quick off the top of my head of all the things that people say like in the morning you should do to get ready. All right. 1, wake up early, drink water, exercise, spend time in the Word, journal, meditate, cold shower, stretch, eat breakfast, fast, wait 30 minutes, get outside, grounding, go outside barefoot, all these things. Guys, if you actually tried to do all these things, your morning would be so miserable. Because you're talking to the guy that tried to do all that. And sometimes it doesn't work. It's just not worth it. And if you're just starting out and you get into this, slow your roll. Slowly add in. As I always say, whenever someone says, Buster, how can you party so much? Well, I slowly bring it up into fifth gear. And once I get into fifth gear, that's the point where I go ahead and I put it in cruise control. But if I just try and jam that up all the way right into fifth gear right away and keep going and redline it, I'm going to burn out. You're going to burn out. You're going to experience that. It is difficult to get started. So realize that. Be aware that when you say, you know what, I'm recognizing I'm not liking how I'm operating at this moment, that I need to do something. You need to slowly do it. You need to slowly bring it into a perspective to where it's managed. Because you're going to meet that resistance. And if you throw a lot, that resistance is going to come right back on you tenfold. But if you slowly creep it up on your body and your mind and your spirit, guess what? Your body gets adjusted and it doesn't realize what's going on. Your mind, your body, and your spirit. Those 3 things have to be in line. Because if they're not, well, then you're just miserable. And then in the evening, it's the same thing. You got to have that wind down routine. Do I think morning and evening routines are important? Yes. Is there a specific principle for what you should do? No. Are they some good guidelines or best practices? Yes. Should you not be looking at your phone in bed? Yes. Should you maybe be reading something before bed? Yes. Should you stop eating maybe before? Maybe. I don't know. I know guys that are big and jacked and swollen, they're eating their last meal at 10 o'clock and then going to bed. Do you need 5 hours? Do you need 8 hours? You got to figure this out. And that's part of the fun of it, is figuring out like, hey, this works, this doesn't work. Or this makes me feel good. This doesn't do anything for me. You know, it's just one of those things. So realize this, whenever you're getting started, have the understanding like it's going to be a little hard. So I'm not going to throw a lot of hard at me right away. Speaking of hard, 75 hard, if you want to jump on that bandwagon, give yourself some time to prep and be ready for that. I know guys that get into it, and by the second week, they're so burnt out. They're like, I can't do this. I know people by the 7th day. But then I know some weird bastards who like go straight through it, and it's like, oh, I got this. But they've got it mentally in their head. They understand why you're doing it. So get going. Like if you're just waking up and going to work out, or waking up at 5 and going to work out and reading a book and cold plunging and doing all this stuff just to do all that, and you don't have the understanding or the purpose behind it, you're going to burn out. And that's the last little thing I want to talk about on this subject is if you're doing this, you better damn well have your understanding and why. If you're waking up early to work out because you're like, I want to be skinny, I want to be in better shape, you better start asking yourself 5 whys. Why do you want to be skinny and in shape? Well, I'm miserable right now whenever I'm at work. Okay, what's miserable about work? Well, I got to walk around a lot and I'm tired. Okay. Why are you tired from walking around? Well, it's also because I have a bad lunch or something. You know, dig deeper than the surface reason. The surface reason for making any of these changes or trying to start or understand it will make the hard more understandable on the other end. So when you say, man, at the end of the day, around 3 o'clock, I get the nappies where I'm just beebing, I'm bobbing, and you understand, like, man, I probably got to eat better. Why? Well, because I'm beebing and bobbing at 3 o'clock. Why? Well, it's perfected my performance. Why is it perfect? Well, it's really affecting my performance, and I'm unable to get a promotion, or I'm unable to get the raise, or I'm unable to complete my job, and it's a bad reflection. Okay, so really what you want to do is you want to eat healthy so that you can perform better, not the fact that you just don't want to be napping at 3 o'clock. I love this subject whenever it comes up. Because when someone says, I need to start working out, I just can't get to the gym. Go walk. A 20-minute walk, a 30-minute walk. In a 20-minute walk, you can walk a mile, which may be more than you have walked in the past 8 months, 6 months, a year maybe even. But compound that, and then you're going. Because remember, we're not looking for the biggest amount, every day. We're looking for consistency over time. If you can do those little hard things consistently over time, you'll have progress. Probably there's a book up there that talks about that. So, in conclusion, guys, remember, if you're getting back to doing something or you're just starting, understand why you want to do that. How is it affecting you? What do you need to do that will provide, at the moment, discomfort, but on the other end, a good feedback for you, and you're understanding why you're doing it? You're not doing cold plunges just to do cold plunges. You better have a very good understanding of the benefits behind it. And then you're going to just start slow and build and build and build. Add on, add on, add on. Just day after day after day. You're not trying to do the whole thing right away. All right? Guys, drop a comment below if this episode has given you anything. Please like, share, subscribe. Give us a comment below, some feedback. I'd love to hear it from you. The guys who have been giving me their feedback and letting me know they're listening, I appreciate it. Much love to y'all. As always, love you, and I'm praying for you.